welcome to In the Verse, songcrafting in the Firefly universe. With your hosts, songcrafters, and fellow Browncoats, Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason.
Welcome to In the Verse, songcrafting for the Firefly universe. My name is Marc Gunn, the creator of the Firefly Drinking Songs show.
And I'm Mikey Mason, creator of the Beer-Powered Time Machine podcast and currently the MIKEYtalks podcast.
And this is part 11 of our 14-part series. We are rewatching episodes of Firefly. Our goal is to find themes and stories that we can write songs about.
Yeah, and the first 6 episodes were funded by Marc's fans and his Gunn Runners Club. He hit a milestone that allowed this show to happen.
There are still more episodes of Firefly, and these last 8 episodes were funded by Mikey's fans, helping him hit a Patreon milestone as well. But you can still help us in this creative endeavor by supporting him at patreon.com/Mikey Mason.
Yes, and you can also do so by supporting Marc at patreon.com/Marc Gunn Music.
All right, upcoming shows. February 13th, I have an internet concert on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. February 15th, The Lost Druid here in Decatur, Georgia. March 12th, an internet concert again. I'm finally scheduled all my internet concerts for the coming months. The 22nd through the 20th through the 22nd, I'm in Concoction in Cleveland. And then, of course, every Wednesday, I'm doing Coffee with the Kilt Father when my voice is working. It's over on Facebook at 10:30 a.m. on Wednesdays.
Yeah. For me, February 7th, I'm at the Fickle Peach in Muncie, Indiana from 7 to 10 p.m. That's a 3-hour cover song set. Just me and 3 hours of acoustic mayhem. February 22nd to 24th, I'm at Recon at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, brought to you by the League of Geeks. February 28th to March 1st, I'm at the other MarsCon, not the one in Virginia, the one in Bloomington, Minnesota, the one that's 9 years younger. My show is at 9:30 on Friday, 9:30 on Friday night. It's the only show I have this on that weekend, but it's going to be a great lineup of funny musical comedians. March 7th, Guardian Brewing Company, Muncie, Indiana, 3 more hours of acoustic mayhem. March 13th to 15th, I'll be at BFG Con in Frederick, Maryland, and March 20th to 22nd at Animatic Con in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Awesome. Upcoming news for me, I have the Celtic invasion of Italy is happening this summer. I have a few spots left. But you can go to you have to sign up by February 15th. So drop me a line, go to CelticInvasion.com for details if you want to join me in Italy. There's also my Kickstarter for Selkooth was postponed at the end of January, and it's now moved to February 10th. It begins and it ends like the first Friday in March.
And that includes some songs that were written for this podcast.
Yes, actually, it occurs to me that this is kind of my third Firefly CD. Well, it's not really. I mean, it's not like it's all Firefly songs, but the vast majority are. And they're songs that came out of this podcast. So, yes, it is.
So you already know they're good.
I think they're fantastic. Yes.
You're talking about February. February is February album writing month. Woo-hoo! I will be taking part in February album writing month at FAWM.org. You can follow me at Mikey Mason, all one word.
I should point out that I will be thinking about doing February album writing month, but probably won't do it. Go ahead.
The best thing about February album writing month is it's just about putting down material. Yeah. So you don't actually have to record the songs. As long as you write the words, it counts as written.
Okay.
And that's the real fact. So if you write the words and post them and don't have a recording of it, as long as you know what it's supposed to sound like in your head, that's writing the song.
Is there a website for that?
FAWM.org, FAWM.org. And it's just a fun time. The goal is 14 songs in 28 days, although this year it's 29, so you get an extra day to sneak in your songwriting.
I would need that.
And it's amazing. There's a community. It's like NaNoWriMo for songwriters.
Right.
And I'm timing my first ever Patreon patron drive. I've been on Patreon for years now, but I've never done a patron drive. Timing it with February Album Writing Month. Normally on my Patreon, you get 4 songs a month at least, unless there are 5 Mondays in a month. New Music Monday is what I call it. Every Monday I put out a new song. Usually the songs that I write for this, well, always the songs I write for this end up as part of my New Music Monday somewhere. This February, instead of a New Music Monday, I'm putting out 14 new songs. My patrons get all of those songs.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and anybody who is a patron of mine at any level, from $1 to whatever ludicrous amount you feel like spending on me, as long as you can afford it, take care of yourself first before you take care of me. But from $1 up, everyone who is a patron of mine will have their choice of download codes for albums. They'll get a free album of mine from Bandcamp of their choice. I'll send them a download code. All they have to do is tell me what one they want. And if I manage to my goal for 2020 is to hit 200 patrons. And right now I'm just over 100. I'm like at 104.
Wow.
If I hit 150 patrons by the end of February, MIKEYtalks, which normally is free on Fridays, but Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're for my patrons only at the $5 level above. I'll lower that to $1. All my patrons will get the Tuesday, Thursday MIKEYtalks episodes, cool. Period. And if I manage to hit all 200 by the end of February, 200 patrons at any level, I'll figure out something else ludicrous to do that's fun and celebratory. And something that I deem appropriate. I have no idea.
Yeah, right.
And finally, I just want to point out that this is the first of the last 4 episodes of our series about Firefly. And today we're going to talk about trash, but the next 3 will be The Message, Heart of Gold, and Objects in Space. And then, Mark, we're done. Unless we do the Big Damn Movie, which we haven't specifically talked about and wasn't specifically within the purview or scope of the original intent of this podcast.
We're gonna have to do like a podcast where we just discuss this and what our thoughts are for this stuff. I think we should set aside one for that. Not right now, but we'll do it another time, I think.
Right. Well, in any case, 4 more songs, Mark.
Yep.
4 more songs, and I'll have my album, Shades of Grey, written.
Awesome.
I'm still getting tracks back from musicians that are helping me with the final versions of the tunes. Trent Wilson is giving me lead guitar work, the incredible Trent Wilson from Transylvania and Big Damn Heroes out of Springfield, Missouri.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and keyboards from the amazing Sean Faust from New Jersey's The Adventure soundtrack, and they're both huge Browncoats, and they are both fully invested in this, fully invested in the creating the sound and atmosphere that I am specifically looking for with this project, and I am so excited. I'm hoping that it'll be out by the end of March.
Awesome.
If we can record 4 episodes.
Oh, that's right. There's a caveat in there, isn't there? Okay.
Because we've been doing this for more than a year, and we're just now on episode 11.
Yeah.
Because we have amazingly weird schedules, and it's hard.
It is very difficult.
But I think, since I'm aiming for March, that it is possible I may have this album out by November 2021.
Wow.
Sorry.
You might be able to do that. I might be able to follow through with that. I don't know if I can. I just don't know.
Oh, sorry. I misspoke. That's November 2120. I flipped some.
Oh, flip the numbers.
All right. Let's talk about our songs from the last episode.
All right. So my song, I was really excited about the song that I came up with last time. Actually, I should consider this for the my Selkuth for that matter.
You really should.
I love it for many reasons. So last time when I was talking about the episode, one of the things that caught my eye was Zoe and her the way the episode starts, and then of course how she changes. She doesn't really change, but you see the evolution of how she's at the beginning of the episode. She's like, why the hell am I with this guy who's screwing with this emotional story about people dying, and then at the end, and then she's like, yeah, my man, let me tell you, my man does this, and what the thing that struck me, the reason I love my song so much is because it helped me to better understand, number one, their relationship between Mal and Zoe, but it also helped me understand Wash a lot more than I really gave myself credit. I don't think I really understood him until I started writing this song, and then all of a sudden things started clicking, where I realized that, you know, Wash has some of his own issues. He might be jolly and funny on the outside, but I kind of had this feeling that he has a much darker inside, and that's part of the reason that Zoe's attracted to him. She realizes that he's a lot more than this silly guy on the outside, but the silliness helps in their relationship as well, you know? And so, as I developed the song, it basically took that whole story, where it's a song from the perspective of Zoe, and it's called My Man. And it talks about, you know, how, you know, he doesn't take life serious. He won't look darkness in the eye, but my man never saw someone die. He prefers laughing. He likes to face his anguish. My man is afraid of his darkness. He only wants it banished. This guy, a guy who's tortured inside and wants to break out, but can't quite. And so he takes it into turns it into comedy as a way to laugh at misfortune, to hide his own insecurity. But it's I loved how the song came out. The recording, I think I ended up switching the bridge and the chorus since that recording, because I really feel like it's a better chorus, whereas the bridge is kind of silly, and I don't think it really captured the emotion of the rest of the song. So
cool. Yeah. I also think that you should put it on Selcouth, but that's just because it is a good song.
My only question is if I'm going to do it, if I want to, you know, I have no problem singing a woman's perspective, but at the same time, there's a part of me that wonders if I should have someone sing the.
You think you could get Heather Dale to do it for you?
Heather Dale, possibly.
Because that would be kind of cool. I know S.J. Tucker might do it for you. I mean, you have a lot of options.
That's true.
A lot of people,
I will have to think about this. Yes.
And those are just two names right off the top of my head. I don't know Heather, but I know SJ a little bit.
I know Heather more than I know SJ, but
and I don't know how available Heather is, but Suge might be. Anyway,
thank you.
Look at us.
I appreciate the recommendation.
Conjecture here. Let's not get anybody excited for something that may or may not happen.
Right.
Especially ourselves, but
right.
So I took same. Well, I mean, obviously the episode is called War Stories, and I took kind of the same issue from a different angle instead of and also from Zoe and Mal's perspective, but a more generalized one, like the generalized Browncoat versus people who stayed home and didn't fight, even if they agreed with the cause. They didn't fight; they were pursuing different paths or whatever. So I took the soldier's perspective of it and tried to show how it's an entirely different world for people who have experienced wartime conditions. How they have a bond that's, the very bond that episode talks about, that it explores, and how it sets them apart from other people. How they have this kind of unspoken understanding, and if not, maybe not it's exactly respect, but they look at somebody and they understand, if they know that they've been through it, they can, it's like a nod, the whole, I've been there. And I'm saying this as somebody who's never been in wartime situations.
Right.
My father served in Vietnam. I have friends who served in the military. I have friends who served in Vietnam. My son is in the Navy. He's a corpsman medic, and this is just my outsider's perspective, my outsider's exploration of what it might feel like.
Right.
And maybe, but anyway, I really dig my song.
Yeah.
And I recorded it, and I'm waiting for I got tracks back from Trent. I got some tracks from Sean for it, and then I'm fighting because I want to change some parts, and that will mean that they'll have to re-record. At least Sean will, because I can work around Trent's probably. But anyway, let's get into this. I really dig it. I hope you guys enjoyed both of our songs as listeners. But let's get into this show summary. Let's get into trash. Let's go trash picking.
Let's go trash picking. Awesome. Let's do it.
So episode 11, Trash, was written by Ben Edlund, who wrote Janestown, and Jose Molina, who wrote Ariel. And both of those things are super evident.
Yes, they are.
Throughout this entire episode.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
This episode is a mashup of Ariel and Janestown. Right. So, let's just do the 5-minute plot synopsis. Here we go. The episode opens at a desert where a naked Mal is sitting on a rock, staring into the distance and saying to himself, "Yeah, that went well."
During a cargo transfer 72 hours earlier, Mal meets up with Monty, a war buddy and fellow browncoat turned smuggler. As Monty's crew unloads cargo, he tells Mal that he's gotten married, introducing his wife, Bridget. Bridget turns out to be Mal's nemesis, Saffron, and a fight breaks out between them. Enraged to learn of Saffron's double dealing, Monty leaves without her, stranding her on the deserted moon where Mal is waiting for a pickup. Mal orders Saffron to walk away and be left behind, but reconsiders when she tempts him with the prospect of a lucrative heist. Later, Serenity arrives to pick up Mal and the unloaded cargo. Later, Mal lets Saffron out of one of the loaded crates in the cargo bay.
In the common room, Saffron describes to the crew her plan to steal a priceless antique laser pistol, the Lassiter, from Duran Hamer, a wealthy collector of Earth that was artifacts. She claims a detailed knowledge of Hamer's security arrangements, but explains the difficulty lies in getting the weapon off the estate, something Serenity's crew could accomplish. The crew is outraged that Mal has brought Saffron on board, but they reluctantly agree to the plan.
Jane is assigned to watch over Simon and River and keep them out of Saffron's sight. River worries about the situation, telling Simon she doesn't trust Saffron and that she knows Jane had tried to betray the TAMS to the Alliance. Meanwhile, Wash and Kaylee instruct Mal and Saffron to dump the collectible pistol once they procure it into an automated trash disposal unit, which Kaylee can reprogram to have the trash taken to a remote location where they can pick it up.
Mal and Saffron enter the estate without difficulty. They find the room that houses the well-protected collectible, but are met by Duran himself. Duran rushes to Saffron and embraces her, calling her Yolanda and thanking Mal for bringing back his wife, who had apparently disappeared 6 years ago. Saffron insists that Duran provide some compensation for Mal's rescue. Duran steps out to get reward money for Mal to allow them to finish retrieving the pistol. As Duran re-enters, he attempts to remonstrate with her, but Saffron knocks him out with a kick and leaves with Mal, who has discarded the antique in the trash chute, after which they escape.
Meanwhile, Wash has been hovering Serenity directly over the trash unit of Hamer's estate, while Jane retrieves the control unit and Kaylee reprograms it, clinging to the ship's hull. A delay arises during the windy EVA when Jane is incapacitated by an electric shock, but Zoe helps Kaylee replace the control board just in time for the automated pickup vehicle to collect the trash unit. Jane is dragged back on board by Shepherd Book.
As Mal and Saffron fly toward the rendezvous in Isis Canyon, Mal continues to explore his theory that Duran was Saffron's true love and original husband. Saffron seems to become emotional, but when Mal is caught off guard, she secures his gun and takes him prisoner. Saffron orders Mal to disrobe as revenge for him seeing her naked in the episode Our Mrs. Reynolds and strands him in the desert before proceeding to the drop location.
As Saffron searches through the garbage for the antique laser pistol, Inara emerges from above her to taunt her with the weapon. The companion reveals that she has been part of the plan all along, knowing that Saffron would get the drop on them somehow and arranging to beat her at her own game of deception. Inara remotely closes the garage container to trap Saffron for the authorities to pick up later.
On Serenity, the crew discovers that Saffron has again sabotaged their ship, delaying their trip to the rendezvous so that Kaylee can make the repairs. Jane awakens in the infirmary to find out that Simon has medically paralyzed him to rest a spinal injury. Simon reveals his knowledge of Jane's plan to sell out the TAMS, but reminds him that Serenity's crew are a team and that as Jane's doctor, he will never harm him. River, however, warns Jane that she can kill him with her brain.
Once repaired, Serenity makes it to Mal's location. Mal and Inara having reached an understanding, trade jokes about the heist. Mal casually boards Serenity in front of his crew, still unclothed. Wash and Zoe are shocked by the Cap's brazenness, but Kaylee cheerfully congratulates Mal as the ship lifts off from the desert.
Yeah, there we go. So, first off, thanks to whoever wrote that for Wikipedia. I didn't have time to make that summary today, so I just copied and pasted it from Wikipedia. That's why it probably didn't sound a lot like our other synopses.
Yeah.
But also, all right, I don't know. Like Ariel, there are parts of this that are just a TV show.
Yeah, that's true. It definitely has that heist. It's that heist story once again.
That's exactly what I wrote here on my notes. I wrote another standard heist episode. I didn't quite come off with 3 pages of notes about this, and my notes are kind of spread out. But I found a few different themes that played out within it, that I feel played out within it, that I will talk about. For the most part, the heist thing, I'll go in for action-adventure stuff. I like it a lot. That's not what attracts me to Firefly. What attracts me to Firefly is the world building and the exploration of character and relationships. And so that's what really gets me about Firefly. So the things that really get me about this episode, that I really enjoyed about this episode, are the exploration of the themes of manipulation, of trust, of twists, and of defenses and security. So those are the 4 themes that I saw coming all the way through this episode.
The one that has always stood out for me was, which kind of fits in there also, is naked.
Yes.
It's about emotional nudity.
Well, and that fits right into my defenses security thing.
Yeah.
Because I think my favorite line of the episode is, "I've seen you without your clothes on before.
I've never seen you naked. Yep.
Never thought I'd see you naked."
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's that's such a great line.
It really is. Yeah. It really captures. I think first off that whole that theme just kind of runs largely throughout. Though I think you capture a few more that probably better describe it than I did. Than just that one phrase, but certainly, looking at that is the line that I also has stuck with me the most over time, is that very line, because it's fantastic writing.
And it is. And I think overall, despite the fact that this is so built on all these twists, every time you turn, there's a twist.
True.
In this episode, but he meets his bride. His bride is Saffron. His Saffron is now Yolanda, or Bridget. Saffron is Bridget. They fight. She gets abandoned on the planet. She's got a job. He makes her walk away. Surprise! He included her in the crate. There's all these twists. It's twist after, and then later on you find out that they expected she'd betray him all along, and they had been planning since before he let her out of the crate. It's just twist after twist after twist.
Right.
Duran's been married to her. She ran off with a guy who worked there, Heinrich or whatever. So it's all these twists and all these layers. But I think the main thing that is the main theme that I get out of it is defenses or security, which falls that being naked falls into it. Mal doesn't want to be manipulated. Inara doesn't want to be manipulated.
Yeah.
Monty doesn't want to be manipulated. He leaves her on a planet, right?
Yeah.
And she immediately turns around right after Monty leaves her on that moon and tells Mal, "You can't just leave me on this lifeless piece of crap moon." And he says, "I can." And
what I love about that scene right there is it shows. That scene, and plus the one that happens with Duran as well. It shows how really messed up Saffron is. Because we all know that she's manipulative and deceptive and beautiful and evil and all this stuff, but it's that really disconnect from reality where you you know your opponent. You know that, perhaps Mal is a little bit gullible, as she says later on in the show. Perhaps there is a little bit of that. But more than anything, she tries to change tactics in the middle of the discussion when she's saying, well, marriage is hard, Mal.
She immediately turns around and tries to be his wife again.
Right.
And she's a narcissist. She's a narcissistic manipulator, and she feels this sense of entitlement. She's constantly telling people what they can and can't do, trying to manipulate them over and over, creeping in the shadows, watching, looking for an angle.
Yeah.
And I love, he
said,
said,
a better hand of cards this time, just had a better hand at cards this time.
Right. And it's not a game. It's not a game. It's a life. These are life. But it's all set up, and Ara says, idiots, dupes, that's what you'll all be if you trust her. And that's when it becomes another standard heist episode. Mm-hmm. But she's really good at the manipulation when she looks at Duran and says, screaming, don't look at me like that.
Yeah.
So either that really is genuine and Mal's right that for that second we got to see beyond her defenses, or she's so good at this manipulation.
Perhaps. I'm really of the opinion that this was actually, someone she did care about. She, that story, I really kind of feel that. Oh,
when Mal says the reason that it took you forever, you actually want him to look fondly upon you.
Right.
Yeah. Because she actually cares about him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And did you think I was a princess that'd stay locked here in the tower with you? That I'd stay locked here in the tower with you, and he's like, well, I hoped. So
I loved also the line of I really appreciate that. Not much. What is it?
Not that much.
Not that much, but
I really appreciate your honesty.
Your honesty, there it is.
It's very funny, and that's I don't know if that's Jose Molina. I don't know if that's his. That's very typical of Ben Edlund's sense of humor, though.
Yeah.
So, and Edlund, of course, went on to write The Tick, and he's fantastic. Or actually, he wrote The Tick before this, but anyway, he's got a brilliant sense of humor, and when he was writing this show, it really showed. Manipulation and trust gets pulled all the way through this. Everyone versus Yo Saffbridge, everyone. She's manipulating everyone. No one can trust her. She doesn't trust anyone. The exploration of Simon and River versus Jane. When Jane wakes up and he's paralyzed, chemically paralyzed, and it's so that he doesn't bruise his spine. And Simon, says, it wearies me. We could sleep with one eye open, but that wearies me. The thought of that wearies me. And I think it's better if we just remember that we're a team. I'm paraphrasing here, but and just trust each other. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going to trust you. And he gives him medicine and he walks out. And then that's when River pops her head back in and goes, I can kill you with my brain. And I love that. But you have that exploration of trust everywhere. And that sense of entitlement is also everywhere. That when Yolanda is in the trash can and Inara, shuts the lid, you hear her saying, you can't do this. I have a condition. Yeah. She's still trying to manipulate everybody, and she still feels entitled and like she can get a leg up on this.
Yeah, I know it. That's a really good point. I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Or at the beginning when she's digging in her bag and she goes, and he says, pull those claws out of that bag slow. And she goes, don't worry, I'm not gonna pull steel. I'm just freshening up. And he goes, as I recall, lipstick is as dangerous as a gun with you.
That does also make me wonder, though. I mean, I don't know how much of that is narcissist and how much of that is like, how many guys have I seduced? Did I use this one on him?
Right. Well, it's overconfidence at least, and she's got an extensive and wonderful bag of tricks. Yeah. I mean, she's kind of a badass. She is not. Not a weakling. She can kick some ass, and she shows it.
Yeah, I was just struck by an interesting thought because the trash container was sent to Isis Canyon, and
Yeah.
which made me think, Isis, the goddess of women, and
Fertility and magic.
Fertility and magic. Yeah. So that just struck me. I was like, which seems very appropriate for Saffron.
Well, and we know that they like to play with symbology.
Right.
We know that, we know that Simon and River they're trapped. They feel trapped, right?
Right.
And so when things turn on Jane, when he gets zapped and he wakes up, Simon has him physically trapped. He's restrained, medically restrained. Yeah. But, then we get to see Jane feeling trapped just like that. And we get to see, obviously, Yolanda, Saffron, Bridget, whatever her name is, Saffbridge, she's trapped in that container, but the authorities are going to come and pick her up. And then what's interesting symbolically is that, Malcolm said, I've seen you naked before. Or sorry, I've seen you without your clothes on before. I never thought I'd seen you naked, which I think is the hinge pin line of the episode. And I think you agree.
Yeah.
But
although I have another one, I'll tell you in a sec. Go ahead.
Well, at the end, he is naked and he does feel free. And it does look, his trust in his crew is pretty implicit.
Yeah.
It's pretty explicit. He walks up to them. Yeah. He's not ashamed. He's standing there. He ends the episode with, it was a good day.
Yeah.
And he looks genuinely happy and free. He is what you see is what you get.
Right.
And going back to defenses real quick, back to petty criminal and whore.
Uh-huh.
That whole conversation that led to them breaking out Saffron.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was because they couldn't let their defenses down. He was on his guard. She was on her guard. He doesn't want to be manipulated, and he's upset about being manipulated by Saffron. And then he sees her getting out the tea set, and he's like, "You're trying your wiles on me, your feminine wiles." And he doesn't want to be manipulated by her. And he said, "Talk plainly is all." And they talk, and it escalates because they're both feeling guarded and defensive. And it sets off this series of conditions where he finally said that it's at that point where the scene has to happen somewhere in there where they discuss letting her out and before he lets her out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's where that whole thing, I'm like, when does that happen? I always want to know. I want to see that scene.
Yeah. Well, I also, just as a quick aside, and you have another line you want to talk about, but the one thing that truly bothers me about this episode is that they left her there for the authorities to pick up.
Yeah.
But she knows who they are. She knows everything about their friggin' ship.
And her ex-husband will probably find her.
Yeah, and leaving her there alive, and this is just the role-playing gamer in me.
Uh-huh.
That's a liability.
Yeah, right.
That's a bad idea. However, it does speak to their morality. But still, for criminals. Also, Book's not in this episode at all.
Yeah, was he not?
There were a couple episodes.
Well, he was there. Wasn't he there pulling Jane in to the ship? Because it did mention.
Maybe. I don't explicitly remember.
I don't remember.
Oh, he was. He did.
Yeah.
You're right.
I know it's written in our notes that we put at the beginning.
Yeah.
I read that.
Yeah, you're right. That's the only time I saw Book, the whole episode. And he was there so briefly I didn't even notice it. And again, when you have a heist episode like Ariel or Trash, it makes sense that Book's not around, but there should be at least something, more than that.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just, oh yeah, we got to put Book here too.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the conditions were that brought that about, but what was the other line you liked?
Honestly, it's more comedic. The line is Shushin na Kaub Wan, which means Holy Testicle Tuesday. I just had to say that. Thank goodness for the Serenity podcast, which taught me that line.
Holy Testicle Tuesday.
Yeah. Shushin na Kaub Wan. I don't know. I apologize. Anyone speaks.
There are lots of lines that I loved in this. Obviously we all love I Can Kill You With My Brain.
Yeah.
when Saffron's rubbing up against Mal at the beginning, and she says you missed a spot because he was frisking her, and he says you can't miss a place you've never been.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, that's just so witty. And then when Wash, she's like, I know you're thinking, why doesn't she just do this herself? He goes, no, I'm thinking we're in space. How did she get here? I don't recall pulling over.
I know. There's little interactions. I like that. I like also the subtleties, with Kaylee too, who's at one point when that's happening, it felt to me, acting wise, that it felt like she was at that point saying, laughing with the, oh my God, I can reveal the fact that a little bit that I'm cracking up here, that Saffron doesn't know we're playing him. I don't know. I might be reading too much into it, but looking at her face, I was like, oh, she's playing that part and she's doing it well.
Yeah. And it's, the whole thing is, Wash, I love his reactions. I love Alan Tudyk's reactions. He gives great face.
Yeah, he does.
When you see him react to something that someone else does, it feels like that sarcastic, smarmy friend that you have that has that overexpressive face.
Right. And
we've all got that friend. And I love the line when she says, "Can't people ever change?" And Mal says, "Depends on the person. I'm guessing the pain of this fades away. You'll just go back to being what you are." And she says, "What is that?" And he says, "A brilliant, beautiful, evil, double-crossing snake."
Yep.
And she immediately turns around and double-crosses him.
Yeah.
So, you know what? The more we talk about it, the parts of the episode that I don't like are vastly outweigh. And it's not that I don't like them. It's just that they're very ordinary, heisty.
Yeah. Yes.
But there's enough of the character exploration and the brilliant dialogue that
I really think
the
so.
more we talk about it, the more I love it.
Yeah, I've always loved this episode, and definitely, our Mrs. Reynolds was such a favorite of mine, and I don't know if it's nearly as good as that one, but I think it's so much better than the last heist episode, Ariel. I think they did.
Yes.
But there is so much little character things, and a lot of it's the character development of Saffron. But then there's those little bits where the crew works together, in this to fool the fooler, to win the day. And I love how that it all comes together. So. And
I don't know which of the writers did the majority of the character development in this, but I know that there's more development in Janestown than there was in Ariel, and Ariel was more heisty. And there's a lot of this is a great blend between Janestown and Ariel. There's the funny, there's the interesting, and there is the heist.
Yeah,
and still, there's nothing that hit me quite with the impact of "Don't Tell Them What I Did."
Yeah,
no, that was a gut punch.
Yeah. No, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah, they definitely nailed it there. But I agree. I still love the episode, but that would be interesting. Now thinking about that now, where I would rank this for the future. Yeah, I'm not sure would I do that, but yeah.
You know what? I'm not sure I like the idea of ranking my favorite episodes.
I'm very bad at that myself, so it's okay.
Mostly because it would be so difficult.
Yep.
It would be so difficult. All right, so
my number one is this one, this one, this one, this one.
And number one is, what one did I watch last?
Right.
What were we talking about there? All right.
So you have ideas on where you want to go with this?
I'm obviously going to play something with. I don't want to say obviously. I mean, it's going to hit on one of the four themes: manipulation, trust, twists, or defenses. And of course, I love that line. I've seen without your clothes on before. Never thought I'd see you naked. Such a beautiful line.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to work off of that.
Yeah. I'll be honest.
About you?
I don't know if I have. I'm not sure. I had marked a couple things down. There's I know if I shot you, I'd lose Monty anyway. The war buddy bond is hard to crack, which shows
exactly how calculating she was. She did that math
right.
like that.
Yeah. So, what else did I have? A working man struggling to get by the barest necessities on his own private floating island.
Floating island, yeah. That is pretty good.
And of course, then I seen you without your clothes on. Those are the lines I think that struck the most, but I just don't know where I'm going to go. I have an idea for music that I might use, but I haven't got much more than that. So I got nothing.
Yeah,
it's going to be another one that's I feel like I'm going to be working hard to come up with something.
Well, I mean, what was it was Shindig that you wrote Spiderwebs about, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Shindig, yeah.
No, that was Favor of a Dance.
Yeah.
It was Shindig. It was Our Mrs. Reynolds you wrote Spiderwebs about.
Yes, it was. Yes.
Well, look, I wrote Girl in the Box about River, so this is just a thought. I wrote Girl in the Box about River, and then when I wrote about Badger and River's interaction, I used, because those are the two waltzes that I wrote.
Yeah.
So Girl in the Box is about River, and Sad Little King is about Badger thinking about River, and it's also a waltz, and it has a very similar, it's in a different key, but it has a very similar feel to it. So, but it's a little faster, it's a little punchier. But I mean, I think that maybe it's not out of the question to write a related song. I mean, you're allowed to write related songs thematically.
Interesting idea.
And especially with a character like Saffron or Bridget or Yolanda, whatever. That's another, you could just explore identity, who we are. Are we who we decide to be? Wow. When did that come to me? I mean, seriously, it's a lot about what this episode is about. Who you decide to be. She's evil and cunning and manipulative and all that, but she could decide not to be. She could play against whatever her better nature. She could play to her better nature instead of against it.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to sit down and go through, I think, with the words and themes and see what really digs in. Because I'm just not entirely sure where I want to go with this right now.
I'm with you. But I'm going to do it, and I'm probably going to do it tomorrow, because tomorrow is day 1 of February album writing month. Yeah. And I'm going to hit these doors running, because I have 14 out of 29 days in February that I don't have a professional obligation of any kind. So I have 14 days to write 14 songs in.
Awesome. Then you can get that done.
Maybe.
And by November 2021.
2120.
2120.
We can hope. All right, cool. Well, that does it. Let's break up. Let's not break up, but let's break off into our own corners and write some songs, man.
All right, let's do that. Hey, y'all, I want to thank so much all my gun runners over on Patreon, especially to my glorious patrons Alexis, Angela Hughes, Carol Burrill, Carrie W., Eric Ray, James R., Les Howard, Lilith Merrick, Marie Alm, Troy R., and William McCassick. Thank you so much for supporting me and making the song happen. You're cunning lady, far smarter than I. You tear off my clothes with a wink of your eye. You think it's a game that only you can win. But that is insane, girl, 'cause it's you who's naked. You're embarrassed, I'm sure, that you undressed your heart. But let me assure you, girl, you won't tear me apart. You think it's a game that only you can win. But that is insane, disarm me before you tell me goodbye and leave me naked. Please don't face it alone. Stop running to hide. I know where you belong. It's here by my side. You think it's a game and only you can win. That is insane, girl, 'cause it's you who's naked. You think it's a game, but only you can win. That is insane, girl, 'cause it's you who's naked. You're naked. You're naked. Naked.
My Patreon patrons are amazing, and I am completely grateful for them. They help keep the music being made, and especially in times like February Album Writing Month. So thank you to all of you, especially Robin Abbas, Brian Jackie, John Haidt, John R. Woolard, Les Howard, Jeremy Jackson, and Jennifer Lewis.
Seen you with no clothes on before. I never thought that I would see you naked. I should have known by now you're no princess in a tower. Every chance you have to run, you take it. Take it. All these twists and turns, holding anger till it burns, leaves us holding on to nothing but ash. Lives that you collected, all the dreams you resurrected, all these memories you leave in the trash. You just see trash. Until the pain fades away, then you'll fall back again. You told me from the start that I'd miss being in your heart, that you can't miss a place that you've never been. All these twists and turns, holding anger till it burns, leaves us holding on to nothing but ash. These lies that you've collected, all the dreams you resurrected, all these memories you leave in the trash. All these twists and turns, holding anger till it burns us, and we're left with holding nothing but ash. And the lies that we've collected, and the dreams that we rejected, all that's left is just to take out the trash.
Thank you so much for listening. You can download these demo songs when you sign up on our Patreon pages. Find out more about Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason and how to support our music over on Patreon and on our websites.
We'd love your comments, your song lyrics, links to videos, songs that you wrote, whatever, to share in the next show. Use the hashtag #InTheVerse. You can post them on the Blue Sun Tour Facebook page or email intheverse@fireflydrinkingsongs.com.
In the Verse was produced by Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason. Sign up on our websites to find out more about the Blue Sun Tour at fireflydrinkingsongs.com/InTheVerse.